Hi folks, welcome back. How's it going today? A wee interesting topic to speak about. It's called if we're not happy in life with what we've got, should we go about changing our life, folks? And that's exactly what I'd done many years ago. Well, to be precise, about 23 years ago. I was a single man then, and had quite a lot of different relationships, and I was finding they weren't working out, mainly because, as I say, in my early 40s, a lot of women I was meeting were either divorced or whatever, and they had families and had other priorities, and I just didn't fit in there. Well, I knew I didn't, because it was great at the start, but I found that I wasn't their priority. Their priorities were, to be with their kids at the end of the day, and I was just a stopgap. At least that's the way I felt at the time. So, lo and behold, I decided to do something really, really drastic, something I never thought I could ever do in my lifetime, and that was to go about changing my life entirely. Now, folks, changing your life can be for the better or worse, we all know that, and it's not an easy decision, and it's really, really difficult sometimes, especially the path that I chose. At that time I started getting kind of bothered with things like anxiety, and I thought, I'm getting nowhere. And it was just at the time when the internet started coming out. I think I had a Windows 3.1 system. So what did I do? I was onto this anxiety site one night, and I started chatting with this girl, and I said to her, once the conversation started, I was asking her where she came from, and she said, I'm from the Philippines, and I'd never heard of the Philippines before, folks. I didn't been any further than about Spain or Greece at that time, and so it was strange to me, but I got talking to her and she seemed okay, and we were talking about various topics, and I found out she was a teacher, and I never got into any sort of romantic terms or anything like that, folks, but I started to write to her and she started to write to me, the snail sort of post at that time, and it got me thinking. But as I say, it was something that was that didn't go any further than writing and things like that, folks. But I thought to myself, yeah, it'd be nice to just change things, do something different. And I met this other wee girl online, and she was more into starting a romance, and she was from Singapore of all places, and I thought to myself, yeah, that might be good for a holiday one time, just to go and see Singapore. And as I say, unfortunately, her religious beliefs were different to anything that I'd ever come across. I found out later on she was actually a Muslim, and she was trying to sort of say to me, would you like to become one? And well, I'd never thought of that, and I certainly didn't want to become one at that time. I'm not very religious, as you know. So that was the end of that. But she said to me, as I say, at that time, oh, I've almost come off the bike again. It's just a wee bad corner, folks, I'm not very good in it. But she said to me, why don't you if you want someone who is a bit like American or whatever, or British, why don't you go to the Philippines? And that was in my mind because I already had been talking to a girl from the Philippines. So I got the map out and I sort of studied it, and I thought, my God, it's bloody miles away. So as time went on, I thought, right, well, if you want to change your life, Tony, you know, you're probably going to do it the right way, because it's the other side of the world, and if it doesn't work out, nobody's going to be none the wiser. So I got onto this sort of dating site. At the time it was just basically snail mail, because at that time there was no internet, or very little internet, and if there was, you had to go into an internet cafe and send an email and all that sort of stuff. Well, that was the case for, you know, people in the Philippines. They couldn't afford a computer, and I think in these days they still can't, most of them. But I wrote away to quite a few different females, and I was getting all sorts of feedback back. Some of them right away were asking me for money. Well, and at that time quite a lot of money. One girl, as I say, asked me for £2,000, and I thought, my goodness, that's a heck of a lot of money. I could at that time almost buy a brand new car for £2,000, and so I thought, no, I'm not having that. So I didn't pursue that one, and there was one or two others that were nice people, but I don't think they were ready for settling down, and I was wanting to meet someone to get married and things like that. At least that's what I thought I was wanting to do. Anyway, folks, to cut a long story short, I managed to get right into this girl from Cebu in the Philippines. It's a small island which is about an hour's plane journey from Manila, and just something struck me about her, and she seemed honest, and she didn't look like the type that would scam me in any way. And I asked her if I ever came across, I says, could you meet me in Manila? Now, bear in mind that it's an hour's plane journey, and she might not have had the money, and she never ever asked me for the money for the plane fare. She just says, oh, I'll come from Cebu up to Manila and I'll meet you at the airport. Now, the reason for that is because there's two airports in Manila. And one airport is mainly for domestic flights, and the other one is international flights. And if I was going to be arriving in Manila, then I would be on an international flight. And the other airport was, you know, quite a distance away. And she said that, well, if you just come on your own, you might get robbed by a taxi driver or something like that. So she says, I'll come up and meet you in Manila. And well, I was quite surprised about this, and I was happy to do that. So I thought, right, okay, I'm going to go for this. So I booked a flight, and it was quite daunting, to be honest with you. I'd never even saw a Filipino or met one in my life before. And I got on this plane, and I flew to Amsterdam. And then when I got to Amsterdam, the main flight was going to Manila from Amsterdam. And to be honest with you, I nearly got off the flight because it was full of these, I think it was mainly Filipino people, but I'd never saw one, and I thought to myself, well, what am I getting myself into here? But anyway, I'd paid for the flight, so I got on the flight, and I got over to Manila after many hours. I think it was a 23-hour flight via Amsterdam and Bangkok, and my God, it was daunting. And when I got to Manila, she said she'd meet me at the airport, but she was nowhere to be seen, which was a wee bit worrying. And talking about taxi drivers, this wee taxi driver came over to me and he said, "Are you looking for a girlfriend?" And I says, "Well, I'm not looking for a girlfriend. I'm looking to meet my friend that I was writing to." And I says, "I can't find her." He says, "Oh," he says for $20, he says, I will show you where the meeting point is." And I says, "Well, okay." I says, "But I'm not giving you the money till I meet her." So he says, "Aye, fine." So he shows me where to go, and we crossed the road and went downstairs, and my God, there was literally hundreds of girls all at this meeting point at the airport, which was across the road and down a hill, and I couldn't find Lilibeth anywhere. And he's helping me. He's going about asking everybody, "Is she Lilibeth? Is she Lilibeth? Are you Lilibeth?" And a lot of the girls actually said that they were Lilibeth, but and I says, "Look, you're no Lilibeth, you look nothing like Lilibeth." So after about 20 minutes him sort of going round and trying to find her, I thought, "Oh, Lilibeth's no come." So he says, if you cannot find her, I take you to the hotel where I work, and you can get booked in, and I make sure you're okay. So I says, "All right, that's fine." But anyway, out of the blue, Lilibeth actually turned up, and I found her, and oh my goodness, I was overwhelmed really when I met her. I just couldn't believe how attractive she was, and I just seemed to know right away that she was the right girl for me. But as I say, when we got on the flight, things were great all the way down to Cebu. I got into where our folks stayed in this place called Hippodromo in Cebu, and it was totally alien to me. And the next again day, or even a few days after that, we just weren't getting on at all. But I wanted to persevere with it, and I knew that deep down it was just a culture change and things like that. And then at one point she'd actually told me, "Look, this isn't working, you just go home." So I knew right away when she said that she was an honest person, because what she was saying was true. But I talked her round, and we sort of passed another few days together, and things were getting better. And lo and behold, as I say, I might go into the story in more detail later on, but folks, ultimately in the end, as I say, over the next 6 months to a year, we arranged to go back to the Philippines, and we got married, and it totally changed my life. And I would say, you know, there's been a lot of fights between us, and a lot of arguments, and a lot of culture differences, but all in all she's coped with it probably better than me, to be honest with you, and we're still together 23 years later. And if it hadn't been for that decision to change my life, I think my life would have been pretty crap, to be honest with you. And I've got a lot of thanks for that. So folks, as I say, if you've enjoyed this wee video and you'd like to come and change your life in some way, kind of think of what I've said. It's not always sometimes for the better, but it was the better for me. And folks, can you maybe give us a wee like and subscribe if this has helped you in any way? I know it's a big decision to go and change your life. It's a huge decision, but sometimes it's the only way to go. Remember, you only live once, so make the most of it, folks, and you have a good week, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.